What's up, everybody? Good afternoon. We are an hour away from kickoff now, and I'm going to sneak in one more video before the game starts because we have some new information, and information is powerful. We have some injury updates going into this game, and they are probably the final injury updates we're going to get. So we now have a pretty good idea of what's up. And obviously, missing a player, even a player who is viewed as more of mediocre importance or somebody who's lower down the totem pole in team importance, it can make all the difference in a game. So this stuff matters. The Cowboys last night, great example, right? They, because of injuries, went from a team that not only got whipped last night on Sunday Night Football, they also, because of those injuries, went from a team that looked like the favorites to win the division to a team that now may be playing for the draft. So all these little things matter. So when you look at a team like the Cowboys, you wouldn't say that Connor McGovern was the most important player in the world, but you see him leave early in that game after like one drive. And you see the Cowboys' offensive line really struggle to get anything going in terms of pass blocking after he leaves. Not the most important player, but he played an important role, and with his absence, you see that he may have been more important than people were giving him credit for. So every little thing matters. With that being said, the inactives list is not shocking for the Seahawks. It's pretty much what I expected. There is one surprise over on the Broncos side of things, which we'll get to in a moment here, but I want to lead off with the Seahawks inactive list here. What I expected. We knew about Artie Burns. We knew about Tyler Ott. We knew both guys were highly unlikely or definitely not going to play. The long snapper that we have actually worked with Jason Myers when he was in Jacksonville, so that's good. But if you watch some of the games yesterday, that special teams exchange between the hiker and the holder, or the hiker and the punter, it's no guarantee. So if you, as a Seahawks fan, are not sitting there going, we may lose some points tonight because of our long snapper, then I think you're looking at the wrong stuff. I'm a little scared right now. Like, we got enough working against us in this game. We don't need a long snapper without familiarity with our holder and punter costing us points in this game. So something to keep an eye on. Fortunately, we got somebody with a little bit of background working with Myers, which is nice, but it's not what we wanted to deal with going into this game. But we knew about them. We've known about that. We've known about Burns. So they're not going to play tonight, as I think pretty much everybody kind of knew. The interesting ones come in the form of these two. Kenneth Walker III out, Damien Lewis out. I expected both, but they were both listed as questionable, so it was possible. I thought it was kind of a pipe dream, and I didn't want either guy to play. Well, what's the value there? We have running back depth. We can handle not having Walker for a couple of games. And our guard depth also allows us to get away with not having Damien Lewis, so why put them out there when they're clearly not ready? These are two guys who missed a good chunk of the preseason and a good chunk of training camp. Why mess around with it? So not surprised about that at all, not really unhappy about it. It would have been nice to have more depth in the backfield, more depth up front, but it is what it is. And Myles Adams also inactive. Maybe that's a little bit surprising, but you can only have so many players active. Myles Adams is somebody who figures to not get a whole lot of burn regardless. Obviously, with the absence of LJ Collier, you would figure this is Adams' chance to play, but it's not going to happen tonight. We did put Alton Robinson on injured reserve. That's why he's not here. He's going to miss at least 4 games. And it sounds like he could miss more, so that's not great, not my favorite. And frankly, the things we're hearing about Alton Robinson indicate he could be out for a while, beyond 4 games, like most of the season. But, as I've said before, he figures to be our number 4 pass rusher, our number 4 edge rusher. So, at the end of the day, you should be able to overcome a loss like that. We also promoted Tanner Muse and the new long snapper from the practice squad. So we might see a little bit of Tanner Muse, and it's good to have him up because we need the help in inside linebacker. Very little depth there. In fact, you could argue there's pretty much no depth. But that's what the Seahawks are looking at right now. Let's jump on over to the Broncos inactive list over on this page. And Josey Jewell is out, as expected. The interesting one is Billy Turner, who was questionable, but he did practice, so I thought he was going to go. Maybe Uwazurike is a little bit surprising as well on the defensive line, but he's not a big-time impact player for them necessarily. He is a rotational guy, a backup. Billy Turner is the starting right tackle. And coming in for Billy Turner is Cam Fleming, who is not a bad player. He's got some NFL experience. He actually was on the Patriots team when they won a couple Super Bowls. That being said, you would expect Billy Turner to be better than Cam Fleming, or else Billy Turner wouldn't be starting. So they're going to be down one of their starting offensive linemen. And in a game where guys like Darrell Taylor, Uchenna Nwosu, and Boye Mafe need to have an impact, it's got to help. So Billy Turner's out. Sounds like he was very close to being able to go, but couldn't quite get there. So we've got Cam Fleming at right tackle. And they're just a little bit thinner on that offensive line at the end of the day. So no excuse to not get some pressure on Wilson and make his life harder in this game. But they are going to have KJ Hamler, and they are going to have Randy Gregory. How effective will they be? Time will tell. But that's a big deal. Like I said, Randy Gregory, probably by a good amount, the best player on that defensive line. Probably by a good amount, defensive front seven. Randy Gregory, I know he doesn't put up the prettiest numbers, but he is a guy who is the motor for a lot of pressure on opposing quarterbacks, and he plays the run well as well. People compare him to Clowney, and that's actually a pretty good comp. He doesn't put up massive numbers, but his presence is valuable. So him being out there really makes that front seven look a lot more dangerous. It's still the area of the team you're going to want to go after a little bit, especially in the middle. That defensive line, not impressed. The inside linebackers, especially with Jewell out, they're not great. And that secondary looks like it's pretty great. Patrick Surtain and Justin Simmons, you don't want to be challenging those guys too much. You want to be challenging the inside of that defense. You want to be challenging that front seven. And I'm going to stick to what I said in the pregame this morning. You want to run the ball a lot. But that's about it. Jalen Virgil was not a particularly important player for the Broncos. I guess he could become one because Hamler's not 100% and Patrick's out for the year. But as of right now, not a big-time player. Turner Yell, I'm not even familiar with. So I'm not going to pretend like his absence matters. And the Broncos do have a pretty... I'm not going to say it's an over-the-top great safety group, but it's a solid safety group that they feel good about. So I doubt that's going to come into play. And yeah, we've got about an hour before kickoff, guys. So speak now or forever hold your peace, as they say. Hopefully some good things can happen tonight. Hopefully we put our best foot forward. But those are the inactives. Let me know what you think down below. See you guys tonight after the game. Probably going to get a post-game video up before 9, and then later after 9, maybe 9:30, I go live on stream for an hour and a half, and we go from there. See you guys later. Go Hawks.